Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is cassb, and today I'm going to be sharing my testimony with you guys. I previously recorded a video talking about singleness, but I realized that I'm not quite ready to release that yet because I'm mostly preaching to myself on that video, and I just feel like I'm not totally wise enough to post that video yet, and so that is going to get delayed. So I'm going to post my testimony instead because a lot of people asked to hear it. My testimony is something that I share with a lot of people. Like, I'm really open about it. I'm really like an open book when it comes to stuff like that, but there are parts I've never shared with anybody before until now, so you're getting a sneak peek into my testimony and who I am, and it's gonna scare probably some people, and it's okay, it scares me too, but know that I'm just a normal person, and I struggle with things just like everybody else does, so let's get into it. So I was born into a Christian home to my loving, caring, and very sarcastic parents. And I was born in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, and we went to church whenever we felt like it. It wasn't really like a demanding thing, like it wasn't really something that like I grew up doing a lot. I just remember like sitting up there and like listening to music all the time and not really paying attention in church. And I ended up getting saved at a beach themed VBS when I was about 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. And I didn't really know I didn't know at all what it meant, but I just decided to do it because everybody else was doing it, and I was like, and I don't want to go to that scary place that everybody talks about. And so I went up to the front of the room and asked the lady if I could get saved, and she said yes, gave me a little pamphlet, talked about it, and life went on. When I was growing up, I dealt with a lot of divorces, and this is where the track of people leaving my life really started. My grandparents ended up getting divorced after being together 40-something years, almost 50 years together, and that was not only hard on me, but hard on my little cousin Sadie, just because we had grown up seeing them together, and that being shipped away from us was really hard. We both won't admit it, but it really was, and it shaped who we are. And so that was the first divorce, and then I went through another family divorce with my aunt and uncle, and that was really hard for me, and just a lot of things were kind of falling apart when I was younger, and we had a lot of family drama going on, and so we ended up moving from Jacksonville to Texas when I was 12 years old, and let's back up just a little bit. So that's where people started leaving my life really started for me. But if we start in the whole, like, what are my sins and my addictions and stuff, this is where porn, and this is where my real struggle started. So in the 4th grade, I was introduced to pornography and different videos like that, and I became addicted and obsessed, and as a little girl, I didn't know the difference between right and wrong. I didn't know those videos were wrong. I thought that was something to look up to and look forward to in life. I knew that I wasn't supposed to have sex before marriage, but I thought, hey, like, why not watch some videos and get prepared? But it was just rotting my mind, and it would ruin relationships for me in the future. And so anyways, so flash forward, I'm still dealing with this. We moved to Texas, and I realized that I have no family there whatsoever. All my family was back in Jacksonville, and that was really hard for me. And so being still addicted to porn, starting out in a new junior high with no friends whatsoever, starting out fresh. I was always the new girl, but this time it was different because it was a whole new state. So I didn't like barely know people. I didn't know anybody. And so I started going to school, and I met friends, and by the end of 8th grade I had quite a bit of friends. And then starting out in high school, all of those fell apart. Freshman year, it was horrid. And I lost a lot of really close people to me freshman year. And then sophomore year came around, and I met some other people, some great other friends. We became really close, and then I ended up losing them also. Friendships are for a season, and I know that's going to be talked about in another video, but I just want to encourage you that God is going to remove things and give you better things. Things that He's taking away, He's going to replace with better things, and I can promise you that because I can see now. I would lose all those friendships just to gain the one best friend that I have now. And so anyways, sophomore year came around, I started dating someone for the first time. It was my first serious boyfriend I ever had, and we went way too far, way too quickly, and that's where a lot of my expectations through pornography really came to light, and just putting those expectations on him, and we both just weren't good for each other, and when we were around each other, we were very toxic. and we didn't point each other towards Christ. We really just said, hey, if you're struggling in this, like, I'm going to struggle in it with you, and that is not good. That's not a healthy relationship or friendship or whatever you want to call it. And so we quickly, I say quickly, we got out of it a year later, and I was like, I'm never going to date again. Like, I'm not in the mood for dating. Like, he really hurt me, and that was my first heartbreak, and it sucked. Junior year came around, and by then I'm still struggling with porn and my addiction to that. Junior year came around, and my Aunt Lynn, my great Aunt Lynn, and my Nana started really reaching bad health. My Nana was in her 90s by now, and my Aunt Lynn was battling just some immune disorders, I believe, and some different types of cancer in her legs, and so she wasn't doing so well, but we couldn't be there with her. We were in Texas, and so that was hard because I didn't know the full extent to it. Like, I just thought, oh, Aunt Lynn's sick, or oh, Nana's not doing too well, and so that's just what I always thought was happening. And so up until now, I have lost over 10 really, really close best friends of mine, and so struggling with that and then trying to get over a guy with a broken heart sucks, having and facing it all at once. And I started catching feelings for the regular high school bad guy. He's not a bad guy, but he was the bad boy of high school, and everybody was telling me, don't fall for him, you don't need to fall for him, he's bad, like, he does all these things, he's hooked up with all these people, like, he dates everybody. And so I fell really hard and ended up getting my heart broken into a million pieces again. Got super distant from God and just totally lost who I was. I don't even remember who I was back then, which is crazy to say, but I look back at pictures and text messages and I'm like, I sent that? Like, I can't even believe that was me. And so I ended up, getting cheated on like a normal person would in the type of relationship like that. Let me back up on my Christian journey here. I'm a little bit off on dates and stuff, but freshman year I ended up getting kind of like reacquainted in church, and I started going to church a lot. So freshman year up until this junior year, I was in leadership at church. I was working in daycare. I was super close to God up until this point. Every relationship I had been in up until this point in a relationship, my relationship with Christ just went downhill, especially this toxic one. And so that summer, I got the unfortunate news that my aunt died and passed away, and that was really, really hard for me because that was the first death I experienced, and also that was a slap in the face of what it really feels like to genuinely lose someone. And like I said before, I have issues with people coming into my life and leaving really quickly. It's all about trust, and just I can't barely trust anybody anymore, just because I'm afraid they're gonna mean a lot to me and then just leave me. And so senior year rolled around, and this year was different. I had a crush on a boy who was super sweet. He was a good Christian guy. He went to my church. I loved his family. Everything was just perfect. And we had been friends for a while before. And I remember entering the relationship, and I was like, this is what it feels like to not be jealous. This is what it feels like to be in a healthy, like, God-honoring relationship, because we prayed about it together. We went to church together. I didn't have to drag him to church. He would be there already. He was on leadership with me. Like, it was amazing. Into that relationship, I just kept struggling with porn, and I didn't tell him. I didn't tell anyone, just because I felt like as a woman and as a girl, nobody would understand that. And if you're out there right now and you're watching this video, this is the one takeaway that I want you to take away from this video is porn is an addiction no matter the gender. And I will say that till the day I die. And we need to normalize that, because I grew up ashamed, I grew up guilty, I grew up feeling like I was weird, and that's not fair, and that wasn't fair to me, and that's not fair to anybody out there that's struggling with that, because I know it's a real addiction. I still struggle with it on really bad days. And if you're a girl out there, or even a woman, or it doesn't even matter how old you are, know that it's a real thing. And that you should tell someone and open up to them, because 9 times out of 10 they're probably struggling with it too. And so anyways, I was struggling with that and just feeling really insecure in my walk with Christ. And like I said before, every relationship I had went in, just my relationship went down with him, and then with the other guy it went total priority unbalance. And then I ended up losing my Nana. I ended up losing my Nana at the beginning of the week, and by the end of the week I lost my grandpa unexpectedly, all in the same family. And so with a matter of just a couple days, my life was changed forever, and I didn't even get to tell them goodbye, and that just really, really hurt. All the times they called and I rushed to get them off the phone so I could go out with my boyfriend or my friends or whatever. Every day I wish I could go back to those days and be like, y'all can go without me, I just need to sit down and talk. So anyways, I lost them, and that was really the point where I just lost trust in everyone. I just withdrew from every relationship possible. I treated everyone like I couldn't trust them. I pushed everybody away. I became somebody I didn't even recognize. Started going back to toxic relationships in the past. While I was still dating this boy, I thought, hey, if I just like rekindle that friendship with him, I'm gonna feel better. And that wasn't the case at all. It hurt us, and it hurt him, and it hurt me even more. And so I ended up breaking up with him because I thought it was the best thing for me, and at the time I do believe it was, just because I wasn't giving him my all. I wasn't giving him everything like he was giving me. And so I broke up with him, and it hurt us so bad, but I didn't feel any pain just because I was numb at that point. I had lost so many people in my life. They just keep coming in and out, and I couldn't handle it anymore, so I was just numb. I numbed myself to everything. And so here comes summer. I am really good friends with one of my church friends, and I am best friends with somebody I've been best friends with all up until high school. And this high school best friend of mine had been friends with me through all my relationships, knew my heart, knew everything about me. And on the other hand, my church best friend also knew everything about me, but was just more, knew more of my heart than my high school best friend. And so by the end of the summer, I lost both of them unexpectedly. The high school best friend, we fell apart and we drifted really far, and that hurt me like a breakup, just because I had prioritized her friendship more than anything, and obviously I didn't matter as much as she mattered to me, and that was really hard because I didn't know that. I thought I was, her best friend also, and so that was hard, and that was just another stepping stone onto the I don't trust anybody path that I was going on. And then my church best friend, we ended up having a disagreement about something, and we both hurt each other really bad, and we went our separate ways for a little bit. But I remember, this is the part of the story that I just want to tell you guys about. I remember her texting me and asking me, hey, I don't want our friendship to end, and I'm praying for us, and I want to meet to talk about it. Whereas on the other hand, I had friendships that had ended and nobody had done that before. And let me tell you, praying for our relationship, we're not perfect, even to this day. We're not like sister best friends, but we talk almost every day, and we pray for each other almost every day. And that level of maturity where we can say, I know I hurt you, or I know you hurt me, but I forgive you, and I want to take this step to make sure that we don't lose this bond. That is what a mature friendship in Christ looks like. And learning through that friendship, I also met one of my other best friends, and her name is Bailey. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Y'all already know who it is, but her name is Bailey, and when we first met each other, it was early in high school, and we both didn't like each other because we were dating each other's like best friends, like guys or whatever, and we're like, okay, that's awkward, that's weird, whatever. We didn't like each other. We grew on each other. We had some ups and downs, but finally we got through it, and we ended up being really close. My mom actually ended up breaking her leg right before we moved back to Jacksonville. My dad ended up getting a job a couple months into my first college semester at community college, and so we ended up taking that and moving. But right before that, my mom, I guess, just got really excited and fell off the ladder and broke her leg in a million pieces. And so Bailey would come over and just sit with me and talk to me, and just really helped me through some really hard things I was going through, and also became really close to the family. Now, so close that she's basically my sister, which is so weird, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And we ended up making a little sorority in my first college semester called Alpha Omega, and it lasted for, I don't even know, like a month, and then I had to move, so it was all over. We were like, okay, we're done, like, I can't continue it, I'm moving, whatever. And so then we picked it back up about, I don't even know, like 7 months after I moved, and I took it to TikTok and was like, if you want to be a part of this, DM us, and you can. And so it blew up, and now we have Alpha Omega Girls, which if you're not a part of it, you should be. It's a worldwide sisterhood of just amazing, really sweet Christian-centered friendships and girls, and it's amazing, and you should be a part of it because we want you to. And we have lives every week, and we send out devotionals every week. It's awesome, and it's definitely a community that you should get invested in. But yeah, so we created that, and we are the co-founders of Alpha Omega Girls, and we could not be happier with that. It is definitely what God has put on our hearts to do. It's our purpose. And then I started the Monarch Market, which is also my baby. It's my boutique. And seeing everything just kind of line up in the way that it was supposed to makes me just so grateful for my past and everything that I went through, and all the relationships and all the heartbreaks and stuff. And yes, I still experience heartbreaks, and yes, I still you know, talk to guys and date guys and stuff, but I have made a lot of mistakes in the past. I have taken things way too far, way too quickly, and I have just really outdone myself on the wow, Cassie, I didn't know you were capable of that. But at the end of the day, God meets me with grace. He meets me with loving arms, forgiveness, everything you can think of. God just meets me there. And if you've struggled with an addiction, if you've struggled with going too far in a relationship, getting too attached too quickly to friendships or whatever it may be, or broken hearts, or people let you down, I encourage you to take it to Christ, because I've learned the only one that can hear your heart whenever you're crying so hard, and the only one that knows your heart and created your heart is the Creator, and He's the only one that can get you through what you're going through. And so I pray with my entire heart that you just start taking it to Christ. And if 3 things from my testimony I want y'all to get out of it. Porn is a gender universal addiction. It's not just in men, it's not just in guys, it's also in women. And be open and honest with each other. If you have a really good mentor, a really good friend to open up to and ask, hey, can you keep me accountable in this? It will help you 100%. I know from experience. 2, when a friend or when a guy drops you unexpectedly, remember the blessing that's going to come. Remember that God is taking away that to give you something better in the future. And I can guarantee it, because I can look at my life and take that away from my life and take that away from my story. And 3, always go to Christ no matter what. And I'm telling you this just because I know He's faithful. I know that He delivers. And I know this because whenever I'm at my end, whenever I've hit rock bottom and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I literally cannot do this anymore. I don't know what to do. And I just sit there. No words come out of my mouth except what's in my heart. Yeah, tears might be flowing out of my brain so hard, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I know you're better than what I'm going through. I know you're better than this heartbreak. I know you know what's around the corner, but I don't. So please heal my heart. Please change my attitude towards this, and let me be thankful that you took that away from me, because maybe I couldn't see the hurt that was coming down the road, and you took me out of it before I could. So yeah, those are the 3 things that I hope you got out of my testimony. Again, I'm sorry this wasn't the regular video that y'all had asked for. But this is what y'all got, just because I felt like I wasn't ready to talk about singleness just quite yet, because I wasn't quite content enough and mature enough in that idea. So I love you guys so much, and I'm praying for each one of you. And comment below any prayer requests, questions, suggestions on more videos to make. I'm totally down. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. That was my testimony. Be open about your struggles. Be real. Be raw. I guarantee you it'll make a difference. That's your challenge this week. Be raw. Share with somebody your struggles and addictions, and I promise it'll get better, and bring them to the feet of Christ. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Cassb out.